All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for some more Doom Eternal Ancient Gods. I kept calling them old gods. Well, I was trying to make them feel a little bit younger. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, as of this recording, I've read a little bit more of the novel Villains by Necessity. Basically, for those who don't know, that is a somewhat obscure novel, but is a bit famous in the fantasy fandom for the novel where the bad guys are actually the good guys. Basically, the balance of the world is has been damaged by the good succeeding. It's a little more complicated than that. Initially, I thought there was going to be some sort of true neutral message where, like, oh, you really gotta be bad and there's gotta be a balance, man. When in all reality, the book is really nothing like that. There's actually some explanations for why there needs to actually be a balance in that world. And it's not so much that the good guys won, but rather some magical portals got shut, and that's why that happened. Which is much more of a, it's a much better explanation, because, like, the whole idea of humans would get bored if they were, you know, not suffering or something, it's like, really... Yeah, because, like, whoever said that is somebody who is a colossal nihilist and should never be allowed to rule anything ever. Because, damn, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I utterly despise the fact that I gotta play through all this bloody gameplay again. But that's the problem. Actually, it's not that much gameplay. I will take that back. I will take that back, game. But you better be the best game in the world. And it may just well be that. But I've always hated the idea of, like, well, if humans had nothing to do, they would stagnate and crap like that. You know, that, I guess the boring ones would. But if I didn't have to go to work all the time, I could get a lot of other shit done. But thinking I'm just a very busy person by nature, I suppose. But overall, Villains by Necessity is one of those fantasy novels that what we in the business call good. It's got some really, really top-tier writing, some really good characters. And there's actually a good degree of humor in it as well. I never really got into Discworld. One day I should actually but actually read more than just the two novels that I already have. Because I know it's pretty good quality stuff. My problem is it's just a little bit too much. Oh, come back here, you bastard! You see, the game knew I was talking about how I just felt that it was a little bit too much British satire. Oh, this is gonna be one of those things, isn't it? There's all the rest of that. Hurry up, you gutty thing. Oh, but as it's almost Halloween, last video I think I was talking about the Universal monsters. I've been trying to think of a way to, like, turn them into superheroes. Because, you know, superheroes are awesome. I mean, they are at the very least... Oh, come on, make it! Oh, God damn it! It's like I'm so close! So close. And I'm already hurt. Alright, come on. It's like, I can't even complain, because this is actually a pretty good design here. I mean, this is actually a legitimately difficult platforming challenge. I'm sure this is going to give the gaming journos nightmares. Okay, and... jump. Come on. Oh, no! Aha! Mantling for the win, lads and lasses. See, this is what we call a video-based game. This is actually, you know, fun. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, I bet I fall. No, I won't. I believe in myself. I believe... Oh, bullfuck. Oh, good. That actually... Awesome. I believe I can fly! Ah, there we go. I believe I can soar through the sky with the greatest of ease. Okay, we finally made it over. And, but yeah, the Universal monsters. People always like to talk about how, like, the Invisible Man is, like, this big scary guy. But I gotta say, he's, like, the wimpiest of them all. I mean, he's literally a naked guy running around. I just can't get over, like, oh, man, he's so scary. It's like, he's naked! Like, literally, he has no weapons. It's like, come on. How hard is it to defeat that guy? Now, I guess, like, in the 30s, he might have been scary, because, like, you can't just, you know, God damn it, use infrared, but seriously. It's just not that great. He's not that great of a villain, but that was a pretty good movie, especially for the 1930s. It's one of the biggest problems. Those movies just end so abruptly. It's like, and the castle blew up. It's like, at least try a little bit. I keep wanting to say game, but movie. I've been trying to think of like, one of the stories I've always wanted to see revisited as a sort of superhero thing is Carrie. Carrie is still fairly in the popular conscience. Basically, it's a girl who has telekinetic powers. But that's not really the big deal. The big deal about the whole movie is everybody just completely piles on this poor girl, constantly treating her like crap. I guess that was just something you did in every school ever. It's like, why is homeschooling bad again? It's like, but you don't get socialized. But what if you get driven unto madness? Well, you know, you can't break an omelet without, or make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right? So, yeah, it's like, Carrie, though, I think if she had actually found somebody who was actually, you know, good and intelligent, I think she probably would have not gone nuts and killed everyone. And then it's like, there's so much room for exploration there. It's like, you know, she's got telekinesis. Like, why she could like use her superpowers to like fight crime and shit. And that is the kind of story I would like to write. I've actually had some ideas on that, of like incorporating that within my. There's a book I've wanted. Well, not a book necessarily, but a story I'd like to create. The 80s universe, where all the 80s things happen in the same universe. You know, like the A-Team in the same universe as Knight Rider and Airwolf and all the rest. And trying to make that into a coherent whole. Now, that's not necessarily the most unique of anything, but it's still something I'd like to write because that'd be a lot of fun. Because, well, I like the A-Team, and I don't want to waste my goddamn GFG shot. It's kind of like, I always like the idea of these crossover kind of things, the Crisis on Infinite, you know, like id Software games, or like Doomslayer here meets Corvus from Heretic. Actually, Heretic was Raven. I keep mistaking that. It was only published by id, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be. I remember seeing id Software somewhere in Heretic. But turning Carrie into a superhero is the one thing I've always kind of wanted to do, just because, like, that, she is prime superhero material. You know? It's like, she could totally be a superhero. Okay, we need... do I want to waste that? Damn. This is actually a much more difficult... I'm probably gonna die. Yep, there's no probably about it. I actually did die. Truly, I was the most prophetic human being who ever lived. Okay, getting out of that room is not going to be easy. I bet that starts me up right. Yep, yeah, it does. Okay, so this is where we're going to have to waste that other BFG shot, otherwise we're going to be in here all day. And seeing as how this is a Let's Play, I only have limited energy. Oh my god! And time to complete it. And as of this recording, the Alien Isolation audio recordings have been recorded. This is definitely much, much more difficult. Hey, wait a minute. Can I, like, sequence break? Oh, you can. Okay, this is not a good idea, but instead... Ah, we couldn't even get it out in time. Well, that wasn't suggestive at all. Man, they really jumped up the difficulty. The journos will be angry. And smack him. But yes, with Carrie, though, you then need, like, a sidekick. Or perhaps not a sidekick, but, like, a secondary hero. Because, like, if you've got, you know, like, let's say, the character that kind of saved her. I'm actually planning on it, like, being a male character. And, like, because she, like, in the film, like, she goes to prom, and then they dump the pig blood on her. Like, you've got a male character, right? What's he gonna do after that? Because if you want to go for a superhero thing, and stab him, then he's got to have some kind of power, and I finally figured it out. That's actually some bad texture work there, id Software. Kinda lazy. And blast him! Aw, oh, come on, that was it? It's like, I swear this never happens to me. I was tired. I was sick. Had the corona. I mean, never mind. But corona aside, corona-based erectile issues aside, lads and lasses, I finally figured out, like, what could the male sidekick, or just the male character in general have, could bring to the table. And it actually, worked way better than I thought it would. Because, like, okay, if you're gonna save Carrie, number one, you have to deal with all the emotional trauma. Number two, what you're gonna have to deal with is just basically gonna be sort of an anti-Twilight idea that I've come up with. And also what you got to do is you've got to teach her emotional control. That way she doesn't snap and, well, snap somebody's neck with her telekinetic powers. So, you've got Carrie meets Teen Wolf. Not the shitty emo one, but the original Michael J. Fox one. What you do with that, and this is actually pretty brilliant, is in Teen Wolf, the Michael J. Fox character has to learn how to control his anger. They don't really do that, but I would assume he would have to. Oh, fuck it! All right, you busted. When that shield goes down, let him have it. Blast him. That was more fun than it should have been. But basically, the Michael J. Fox character should have had to learn how to control his anger, but he never actually does because it's kind of a crap teen comedy. But the assumption is he would have to do that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Is he would have to do that. So, in the case of the story, by the time he actually meets the Carrie character, he already learns how to do that, and that's how he's able to teach the Carrie character how to not be, well, murderous. Well, actually, it's never really murderous, but to control the anger. It basically, one thing justifies the other. And then, of course, you got a guy that can turn into a werewolf. Now, when I was thinking about the werewolf concept, okay, if you can maintain emotional control and, well, sapience, which the Michael J. Fox version of Teen Wolf could, I mean, enough to play a fucking baseball, or basketball, whatever, some bloody sports game, then technically he should be smart enough to use weapons. So, basically what I'm figuring, what you do is have a gun-toting werewolf. Okay, because if he's smart enough to play basketball, he can use a goddamn gun. And what you gotta remember is, okay, so what if he's super strong or has super strength or super agility? That doesn't matter. All that means is that he can shoot guns more effectively than a standard human. And being able to shoot something from 300 yards out is infinitely more usable and is infinitely more intelligent than jumping up and trying to slash somebody with claws. Hell, he would also, if he's able to maintain sapience, which he can, he would also need to use knives and stabbing weapons, because once again, weapons work better than goddamn claws. So I could see him carrying a goddamn werewolf Bowie knife. Yes, I've given the weapons a lot of thought, because, well, guns. And I just completely... Oh, no, I didn't die. He didn't die. Okay, so how the hell do we... Okay, the platforming challenges are much more difficult in this. I'm quite pleased to see this. I mean, id Software has done it again. Okay. So my assumption is we've got to swing on that, or miss it entirely, and then completely fall off the goddamn platform. That's not so good. Okay, so we got to swing off of that, then swing onto that, and then get over there. Let's do the Ezio Auditore, or miss the entire platform and fall off entirely and die. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, a gun-toting, knife-wielding werewolf, along with his telekinetic girlfriend. I mean, that to me sounds like a pretty awesome concept. I'm trying to also think of, like, what would make for a good Frankenstein monster. Come on, Mantle! And basically, right there, you've got proper fodder for bringing in... Oh, crap, don't let me die. Okay, let's run. Let's run. That's gonna be a lot of turrets. You know, they weren't kidding when they said this was gonna be more difficult. This is exactly what you would want from a expansion pack, which is effectively what this is. Now, theoretically, I should just be able to... Oh, I can! Haha! So they finally got rid... Okay, so that was not a bloody arena. Okay, good. I'm already pleased by this, because I really was worried there was going to be a lot of arenas. Now, this is an arena, but I was able to move past from that without having to be... That's a bloody Hell Knight. Or not a Hell Knight, but a Baron. Baron von Frankenstein. So, I was trying to think, like, how could you have, like, a female Frankenstein and have her be, like, one of the other Universal Monster-ish superheroes? And, well, Carrie's not a Universal Monster, but have, like, some sort of a 80s monster superhero kind of thing. And what you could do for that is basically weird science. Except instead of becoming a gym teacher, the weird science character is instead wants to become a superhero to fight not necessarily crime, but other supernatural threats. I think that's it's an idea that I'm gonna work on a little bit. Not that I have time to work on all that many story ideas these days, because, well, actual work. Alright, you busted. Really? This is definitely substantially more difficult than Doom Eternal. You know, I wonder what would have DLC for Doom 2016 have looked like? Because there was some good stuff about Doom 2016. I still think Doom Eternal is vastly superior in, like, literally every way. Come on, blow them up. Crap. It's like, it seems like they improved the AI as well. It's like everything about this game has been improved. It's quite remarkable indeed. Okay, let's chainsaw him. Oh, it's gonna use him for health. Because, like, this is a fairly small arena. There's a crap ton of enemies here. And my good God, it's like a real video game? I don't know, I think Doom Eternal is like the one good thing that came out of 2020, because the quality I'm seeing here is considerable. Okay, we need to stagger that bastard. Well, close enough. That's why I'm glad. Oh, don't waste it! Damn it! I could have used more of that bloody hell energy. Quick, get him! And stab him! Okay, get the rocket out. No, not that thing, you busted. It's like, this is where I'm not even really thinking, I'm just sort of reacting. You must let go. Ah, goddammit! You must let go of your conscious self and act on instinct. Or, as Qui-Gon Jinn would say, feel, don't think. I tried reading the one Qui-Gon novel that would, or rereading the one Qui-Gon novel. I think it's not Gathering Storm. It's something like that, though. I can't remember the name of it. I found it to be a bit boring, to be honest. I definitely want to try to finish reading it again. I remember it being kind of boring the first time I read it back in the day. It's a problem with some of those early prequel works, except for, well, Darth Maul. God damn it. But then again, Darth Maul is one of the few good things that come out of Phantom Menace. Although Darth Maul was very much a wasted opportunity. I think that Ventress character, not Uriel, but rather Baldy McBaldenstein, that she was sort of like an attempt to have another Darth Maul, but not dead. And then, of course, they just straight up brought Darth Maul back to life, which I think was really, really stupid. Now, in the comic Star Wars Visionaries, you know, okay, that works, but yeah. I do not know what Lucas was thinking. I also still think that the Galen Mare character is crap as well. I mean, seriously, stronger than Darth Vader? See, I can already tell that, like, Star Wars was going bad. Well, it already had been going bad for years by that point, but, you know, when they had the Ultimate Sith Edition for Force Unleashed, where all the major characters get killed off and then Luke becomes evil, it's like, well, that was certainly not a harbinger of things to come. At least Luke and at least all those characters died with some sort of dignity, especially poor Luke. I mean, seriously. Luke might have turned evil in that, but at least he had some dignity left. I don't know, I never really liked the idea of, like, killing off major characters anyway, because, well, there's no real way for them to grow. Blast him! No, that did not work. Stop that ship! Blast him! You know, Stormtroopers, maybe you should have brought in a heavy weapon to take down something that size? I think the slow-mo thing is not enabled. Oh crap, I'm like completely out of ammo. You know, I thought I died there. Because it's like, I just teleported to him. Okay, oh crap, I fucking hate those man-keepers. God damn it! Oh, this is gonna be one of those games, ladies and gentlemen. It's been one of those games where, I don't know, if I die a couple more times, I might find this to be a bit annoying. Because, see, like, with base Doom Eternal, there wasn't that many large arenas, well, there weren't that many long-lasting arenas, and there were good save points throughout. And so, like, that was actually a pretty hard fight, which I now have to do all over again. That's always been my biggest problem with that. It works until it doesn't. You're already annoying me, game. Big mistake. Alright, well, let's blast some of those shield guys. Actually, no, I might have actually been speaking too soon. Really, I jumped off the goddamn platform. Come on, go. I'm gonna blame being tired, because I keep forgetting you can use the bloody flame belch. Because that really does help to a degree. Okay, let's get out the super shotty. Learn to play the game. Whatever, next. Okay, so we got that guy down. Now all we need to do is use the old chainsaw here. It's like the game is too hard. We need to nerf all the marauders. And there needs to be like a super easy mode where the game plays itself. And let's blast him. Now I wonder though, like, could you turn Reanimator into some sort of a... I don't know, would the Reanimator make for a better villain? Or a superhero, like an anti-hero of some sort? You see, like, I'm trying to think, like, what would classic 80s horror movie villains be like? Like, would it be Reanimator? Would it be some of the other random mad scientists of the era? Could you potentially have the Brundlefly be, you know, a good guy? I don't think you could really do that, but... See, that's the thing, it's like... I'm trying to think, like, could you rehumify the Brundlefly? I'm thinking, like, could you, like, God damn it! Could you, like, transform into a fly? See, like, the whole 80s universe idea is something I think would work really, really well. It's just, like, there's so much fodder there. And, cause, like, but a lot of all those horror movies usually end with some major entity dying. So, like, let's say they didn't die, or just have it... It's like... And then, like, there's other, like, the random 80s horror movies could be like random adventures where you gotta stop something from happening. Now, you could try to work in some sort of They Live sort of conspiracy, which would actually be kind of an interesting concept in and of itself. See, a lot of those one-and-dones, they do leave a lot of unanswered questions, and one wonders, like, what would a future of that be? Unfortunately, like, a 20-year after the fact sequel would probably just be the first movie all over again, as we could see with every other remake that ever came out. Now, I wouldn't want to, like, introduce, say, Evil Dead, just because Evil Dead, it's not so much that it's been done to death, but it's a little too popular. And besides, you don't want to try to rip off the great Ash Williams. One thing that's really awesome, I'd recommend checking this out on Etsy. There does exist campaign signs that say Ash Williams 2020. That's who I'd vote for. Klaatu, Verata, you know, all that stuff. Alright, let's stagger some busted. Yeah, you know, Klaatu, Verata, you know the thing. Oh, that goddamn... Please tell me he's gonna get fried and rip him apart. Of course, the other issue with 80 stuff is, like, do you bring in the cyborgs? And, like, how do you make that make sense? I am really hurt. Like, that Kako demon just does not, you know, respect me like he should. I mean, seriously. I think it's high time we got a Heretic sequel. I think it's also high time I finally get, get Heretic 2 working. Holy crap! There's a goddamn fucking hell. No, fuck, no! Get over there. Down to 12 health. Yeah, they definitely made this more difficult. A lot of those runes aren't there. I forgot all about those. Where, like, sometimes if you die, you can come back to life for a second. Ah, they're getting rid of some of the bullshitty things, aren't they? Very sneaky, id Software. Very sneaky. You're making people play the game, eh? I'm thinking of, like, some of the other obscure 80s properties, like, The Gate. It's like, you have your various supernatural heroes roll up and try to stop Hell from invading. It's like, Hell invades, like, every other week! What more can we do? I'm inspired by Monster Hunter to a degree, but where Monster Hunter has like whole government agencies, since it's the 80s, we're gonna say like there isn't. It's like just in the 80s, that's where, at least this is my initial idea here, is like just in the 80s, that's when you have these supernatural threats coming about. But then it's like you gotta figure out why. You know, like why is it just now happening? Like what's causing it? Is it nuclear radiation? The nuclear vessels? Stab him. I've also had ideas for like Power Ranger stuff too. Like actually having it make sense. And instead of having basically just, it's one of those things where all roads end with Iron Man. It's like, why would you not have Iron Man suits if you could do that? And the whole idea of like, you can't escalate a fight. Why not? Why are you fighting fair? Why would you ever fight fair? Fighting fair is the stupidest thing you can possibly do. That is the worst idea in the long, sad history of bad ideas. It's like, when you fight to win. You fight by any means necessary. It's like the whole idea, that reminds me of King of the Hill. It's like Hank admonishes Bobby for like, kicking people in the crotch, and it's like, well, you know, he won the fight, didn't he? I mean, unless it's like some sort of, you know, sanctioned tournament, you know, then there are no rules. When it's an actual street fight, which is what was happening in the show, it's like, well, that's, you fight to win, because your opponent is fighting to win. Your opponent will do whatever he has to do to win, to see you on the ground like that. Now let's see how far back I have to go, because this is where this can get really annoying. Because look at how far we made it. Now, is this going to start me up? Yep, that's... I'm going to chalk it up to being tired, but that is where the game can get really annoying. Because that's already some pretty hard fights, and having to do that over and over again. Now, in classic gaming, that's just what you did. By which I mean that's what other people did, because if I lost enough, I eventually just either got cheat codes or gave up on the game entirely. That's what happened with a lot of games. Like, it took me until the modern era to beat a lot of those SNES classics. Like Donkey Kong, no way. No way, lads and lasses, was that ever going to be beaten. And that's why I like save scumming, because save scumming makes games fun for people who don't have Mountain Dew for blood. See, it's like, this isn't even hard, but it gets very tedious. And blast him with that goddamn hell energy that doesn't seem to be doing that much more damage. It's like, get good, son, or die trying. And you got to get good. Now, one game I would love to do a live stream of at some point is Wings 2 Aces High. That is a classic, like, arcade-styled flight sim for the SNES. I never finished that either. I remember that being one of the harder games for that system. It's one of those games that has aged remarkably well for being what it is. Because a lot of those games that, like, a lot of those games for the SNES that move away from, you know, the pixely goodness, it's, they generally look pretty crap. Like, when they try that pseudo 3D stuff, it just does not work with 16-bit and does not age well. I can think of a number of games just by sight that really do not hold up well. It's like, when you think about it, the stuff they tried... Now, when I say that the 3D stuff didn't really work, there is one game that, despite being 3D, wasn't so bad. And Star Fox really is not that horrific in terms of graphics. And I need to run like an animal out of control. Or be hungry like the wolf. Something like that. Alright, let's try to get... Okay, his shields are down. Our shields are down! To be or not to be. Not to be. Star Trek 6. Oh, and apparently... I love the fact that Star Trek Discovery Season 3 is no better than the first two seasons. I mean, they still have what is essentially a more evil version of the God Emperor of Mankind as a fucking captain. It's like, really? That makes sense? And you also gotta love how... There's two ways you can look at this. They have a janitor character that is actively disrespected. Now remember, everyone in the 23rd century is supposed to have some base level of human dignity. Not in STD, of course, because that would make too much sense. And let's get him! Ooh, I just looked. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need that in the Codex. I already know what a fucking Doom Hunter is. It's a goddamn fucking expansion pack. Well, close enough to an expansion pack. Why would I not know what that is? You know, I think you need a chainsaw, dude. Shoot me from behind a shield? That's a chainsaw. And that's a plasma ing. Okay, that was a pretty good fight. I'll take back all my complaints. Why is he an intern? Like, seriously, shouldn't he have, you know, like a higher, you know, level, but whatever, we'll just ignore that. Oh no, don't tell me. Yep, it's a marauder! Thankfully, he's pretty easy. Unless you work for Polygon. Alright, let's get us the old 12 gauge. Ooh, this might actually be difficult because he is very close. Yep. This might actually be a tough fight. You know, game, you don't need to tell me how to defeat the Marauder. I just have to do it. Well, technically, Doomslayer is his rank. You don't have to add the Sir. We're gonna bust you back to, washroom attendant. No! Let's see. Life spheres contain the memory, intelligence, and will of the essential nature. Oh god, like double minds. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're trying to explain the soul spheres. Kind of interesting in that. I don't know if that really needs any more explanation than we already had, but we'll deal with it. Okay, that shuts. Like how there's just a little bit of shotgun shell ammo. Alright, let's pay attention here. Because all we gotta do is just try to avoid his attacks. You know, like any game. Okay. Now, this is not a bad weapon to use. Damn it. Damn it. Damn! So I was trying to get to that guy to get his health. Okay, we might have to be a little more aggressive. Maybe. We'll just have to see. You can tell this is a good game when, you know, I've been going 32 minutes and still not tired. Okay, does that mean I have to pick this up again? No, good. I'm glad that actually saves that. Alright. One of the things about the 90s, though, it did have a lot of very interesting ideas, like Toe Jam and Earl. That is such a odd concept of like a sapient foot. I mean, that is just a very strange thing. There's a game I never played, but it was definitely something that is memorable, if only for the name. Alright, let's... Damn it. Get the health. So that's where you can actually use his shotgun. Let's see, what you're supposed to do is supposed to stagger those guys, but that is not an easy prospect. I do like this new music. It is really, really good. I kind of miss Mick, but Andrew blah 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 is quite good at what he does. Shit, get him! Ah! Gotcha, you fucker. Ooh, new execution. Now imagine if I got killed by that one bloody zombie. Alright. The only issue I have is, like, how do you bring in, like, a mummy into an 80s, you know, action universe?
The Seraphim's chamber. Now, we work to resurrect the only ones who can save this world.
Didn't we already save the world, Sammy? Just saying. I've tried not to get spoiled by...
Warning. The Seraphim's chamber key has been removed. The Slayer has the key. This facility will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.
That, of course, is a reference to Spaceballs. If you haven't had a chance to see Spaceballs, do so. It actually has a very good sense of humor. Not as good as Blazing Saddles, but at least 75% as good. Now, more like 80%. Yeah, that's an interesting explosion. Not that amazing. It's not as cinematic, but that's more like what an explosion like that would actually look like. But when it comes to The Mummy, I actually had an idea for a better remake of The Mummy that actually wasn't even a remake. It was just something that had Mummy in the title. That Mummy film from, what was it, 2017, 2018? I honestly do not remember when that film came out. That was something that everybody hated. I have no idea why everybody hated it, simply because I've never seen it. But my grandfather's a pretty big purveyor of, you know, kind of schlock entertainment. He can sit through stuff that I would not touch with the 10-foot GeneralLotz pole. And if even he couldn't stand it, you know it's got to be bad. And I think the big problem was, I guess, like that short guy, whatever the hell his name is. He's really famous as a Scientologist. What was that idiot's name? I suppose I should know what that guy's name is. Tom Cruise, there we go. I think Tom Cruise was supposed to be some kind of superhero, and Anoxa Moon was supposed to be the villain, I guess, and then she wanted to kill everyone. I just honestly don't know too much about that. But what you could have done, without distancing it too much from, I guess, the original Mummy story from the 1930s, is you could have kept Anoxa Moon evil, had Imhotep be like some sort of, you know, undead warrior that's trying to stop her from her various evil doings, and don't even have the Tom, or have Tom Cruise play an Egyptian. I mean, why not? I mean, these are people from thousands and thousands of years ago. We don't really know exactly what they looked like, so there you go. It's like you have Tom Cruise as, you know, the mummy. He's an actual mummy. Well, except he's not walking around in bandages. That's the other problem. Like, if you were a mummy and you actually had enough sapience to do things, you would not stagger about, you know, with bandages and shit. You would actually try to, you know, get a body of some description. So, you know, you like have Tom Cruise start out as just like a guy in bandages, and then he like is able to regenerate. I guess you had to figure out how he'd regenerate. Like, obviously, you wouldn't have him like harvesting human souls to regenerate his body, but you could actually, that's a plot that could actually work, I think, where the main character is the mummy fighting another mummy. And grab him! But all told, I don't even think the original Mummy was that entertaining of a film, from what I recall. None of those films, unless you're a fan of classic cinema, are really something I can recommend all that much, just because they are pretty slow. And there were different standards of filmmaking at that time. Although I still recommend watching the old Frankenstein, because it actually does hold up remarkably well for what it is. And Young Frankenstein definitely is something worth checking out. Pretty much any of the Mel Brooks films have really stayed the test of time remarkably well. Alright, let's go. Really, his collaborative efforts with Gene Wilder really, really worked. Although, Gene Wilder wasn't that good outside of his Mel Brooks stuff. It's like, some of his stuff, like Sherlock Holmes's more talented younger brother, really wasn't that great. Is it had a lot of awkward humor where, like, there's a lot of nothing happening for a little while and then everyone's supposed to laugh. Of course, I'm much more a big fan of snappy, you know, quick humor. I never really got the whole awkward humor thing. It just seems rather odd. See, this battle could get very annoying because there's a lot that we've had to fight so far, and one wrong move, dead, and you got to do all that shit over again. But overall, this had 3 levels, and I was like, 3 levels? And it's like, holy shit, they crammed a shitload of gameplay in here, and it doesn't feel like padding either. Smack him. Does not feel like padding at all. I don't think I finished my STD thought. If I did, then I apologize for repeating myself. But in the latest STD, they have a space janitor who has to clean up body parts, and the whole the whole approach to death is played for laughs because Star Trek. We're all sociopaths now. And it's like, it's not even, you gotta remember, Star Trek is not 40K. Hell, it's not even Star Wars did that. Star Trek is not 40K, so they're not gonna make fun of, oh yeah, there's a little piece of that guy. It's like, they're not gonna do that, not even the 23rd century. And it's just like, it's really out of character for like anyone in Starfleet. Oh yeah, that also reminds me, there's an exocomp, which is a random one-off thing from TNG that shows up in Lower Decks, who just says, well, nope, I'm not going to help any of my crewmates because reasons. And I saw some of the explanations for that. It's like, well, not everyone is brave. It's like, how did that character even get past selection? Because, like, joining Starfleet is not like joining, you know, your local mug club or whatever. It's like, if you see what Wesley Crusher had to go through, it's like, that is not an easy thing. That character would have been weeded out long before they could get on a goddamn starship. But even then, it's like, okay, then we can't ever complain about any character ever in Star Trek because not everyone does things like other characters. Like, go fuck yourself. It's the one thing I really hate about modern-day fake fans. They don't even really care about the work they're talking about. They just do it for the representations. It's like, I miss the days when people used to complain about, you know, Enterprise. They complained about every aspect of it. But it's because they were comparing it to previously established canon and actively looking at what was this character doing. Now, anything a character does who is protected in modern-day Star Trek, it's virtuous and pure by virtue of representation. It's really quite sickening, really. Quite sickening indeed. With that in mind, though, I was rewatching a bit of Enterprise recently, and oh, we got the hentai tentacles. Nani? That is not how you should. That is not a rocket launcher. Is not CQB, unless of course. Oh god, is he empowered? It's more representation. We can't fat shame him. And blast him. But let's see, where was I? But rewatching some Enterprise, that show is a lot better than well, actually, I wonder if it's as good as I remember, because it's very easy to get on the internet bandwagon and hate on something that you once liked, because you see videos where people are hating on it. Because I was always a big fan of Enterprise. In fact, for the longest time, that was one of 2 shows that I had on DVD. It's like, I had that, and I had Voyager. And I gotta say, Voyager isn't that great, but it's not as bad as, say, STD. But then again, well, an actual STD is not as bad as that show. But Enterprise did the dark Star Trek thing back in 2000 and whatever the hell it was. Like, it did dark Star Trek, and it did it well without having to, with having actual characters and plots and motivations. It's quite remarkable, really. It's like, if you look at what happened with all the modern day media stuff, you notice they don't have characters. Number one, they can't have characters. Number two, what characters they do have to all be stunning and brave. Because that's just what you do now. And stab him! Well, or cut him, whatever the case may be. Use the holy chainsword of the god Emperor. No, don't fall in the water! I can swim? Oh yeah, you can swim in Doom. I forgot about this. Oh, I'm being hurt. How do I get out? Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna die. Yep, just gonna get trapped on a wall and shredded. But Enterprise did dark Star Trek really, really well. Like, and there goes my phone. Did Star Trek really, really well. And sadly, it never got to finish. There was actually a little fan movement to like bring back Enterprise, and from what I recall, there was like some talks that Enterprise might be brought back on Netflix. Yeah, good luck with that now. I think Enterprise has got such the shat end of the stick. Like season 4, it was a good show, even though season 1 and 2 might have had some rough episodes, but it really was a lot better and a lot more consistent than Voyager was, even in the early crap seasons. the Zindi arc, I think, was something that... The big problem with the Zindi arc was simply the fact that no one was really expecting that. You know, they expected, you know, they expected early Federation stuff. And, you know, people didn't get it. It's like nobody really wanted Zindi anything. But really, if you ignore the fact that it's a race that wasn't previously established, if you ignore that, it's actually pretty well written. Remarkably well written. That is a big guy. It is actually remarkably well written. And I think it deserves more respect than it got. Do I have a... No, I don't. Do I have... No, and I'm dead. Already dead. This is actually going to be a bit tougher than I thought it was going to be. I was trying to get all this in one whole episode, but evidently that may not be the case. Okay, let's go ahead and just use this. This is where I do like my quick saves. It's like I don't really like having to redo a whole bunch of gameplay again and again, and again and again, and again and again, like having to kill that same guy over and over again. Get good, son. Get good. Get good. But nobody really expected the Zindi. It's like, who the hell is that? And it also comes down to like the Klingons and everything else. It's like, they should not have been introduced in the first episode. But, well, they were able to come back from that though. Like, I think if they just had one more season after season 4, but instead they got that crap ending, like that just really adds insult to injury. I will actually go as far and say this, that Enterprise was better than Voyager ever could have been, and it got the worst ending of any Star Trek series. Yeah, actually it's kind of hilarious how even people who are diehard Star Trek fans cannot even justify the utter insanity that is STD. Like, the guy who worked on Star Trek Continues was like, well, it's not a Star Trek made for me. It's like, well, you know, is that really a valid excuse? It's the same excuse of like, can't Star Trek be nerdy and not cool? Or not be nerdy and... Yeah, can't Star Trek just be nerdy and not cool? But why would Star Trek not be cool? I mean, when you have cool and well-written characters doing, you know, epic things, then that was another excuse that I saw to justify the crap quality of Star Trek Insurrection. Star Trek Insurrection is by far the worst Star Trek movie I think ever made. Even worse than Star Trek V, because Insurrection is just awful. Like, it is literally a trash tier quality TNG episode. That's all it is. And it's like, an excuse was, well, Star Trek was not supposed to be cool. No, what are you talking about? Are you really justifying bad writing with saying, well, it wasn't supposed to be good anyway? And evidently, there's a new, there is a new thing. My brain has stopped working for the moment. God damn it. Because it is something quite idiotic. It's, Star Wars fans hate Star Wars. That's not really the case. It just depends on what you consider Star Wars. If you consider, you know, Rey being good at everything for no reason, then I guess that's Star Wars and you can hate that. But it's really just a hatred of bad writing. Because even when I kind of gave up on Star Wars back when the EU was getting kind of crappy, I never hated it. I just didn't think that they were putting forth the best quality. And when you have basically just a complete retread of what had come before, well... Okay, why is that still locked? Is there like some asshole stuck in a wall? Or is there perhaps something I didn't need to hit that? No. Ah, there you are. Really? That should totally have just... Alright, so we've got to find the Seraphim. Now, why we didn't do this in the base game? Well, because your fight, man, is like eternal. So, like, this is like the Doom Eternal, man. I just love it when a game is a game. It's like, let's make a video game, so we can have a video game. It's like, whatever. Next, lads and lasses. Alright, let's jump in the shit water and see if we can't find any good collectibles. Or we will find nothing. Doomslayer apparently cannot swim very well. Just saying. And smash it! I have no idea what's going to be in here, but we might as well do a little bit of exploration. And smash it! Ooh, we get a soul sphere. But does this lead us back to where we wanted to be, or what? No, it doesn't look like it. You know, Doomslayer, you could swim in a little bit more of a manly way. Said just a little bit... little girly baby man flails. Okay, let's jump up here. There's one thing I do find kind of hilarious about Alien Isolation. For whatever reason, Amanda Ripley has the girliest run that I've ever seen. Like, it is literally... it is too funny. Now, not that you'll be doing much sprinting in that game, because if you sprint, like, the xenomorph almost automatically spawns and kills you. Okay, that's pretty fucking sick. I love it. It's even lagging out the CPU. You know it's got to be awesome. Okay, what we got to do is we got to chainsaw you. Really, I liked it so much, I hurled myself into the abyss. That is how awesome that truly was. Alright, we got a rando, generic, green-haired bastard. Yeah, go back to Portland. Yeah, go back. Actually, we blew him all the way back to Seattle. Alright, let's take out the old shoot gunner here. I do think I'm going to find a stopping point and maybe even have this be 3 episodes. This thing is pretty bloody long. Oh my, that's not suggestive at all. Okay, come on. Thank you. That is major wave action, man. Alright, and jump. Don't overshoot. Alright, and we just get drug right over here. I do like all of this platforming. Grab it! I cannot imagine what the Switch version of this looks like. But then again, you can drag the Switch around with you if you so choose. Ooh, should I have even bothered going this way? Whoa! Massive explosion. Smack him in the face. I like how the graphics card is not being used at all, but we're definitely seeing that the 220G is getting a little taxed by this. I sincerely hope this machine can run Cyberpunk 2077 maxed out. We'll have to see. I may have to look at acquiring a new processor. And stab him! Well, or saw him. But yes, the 1980s universe. I've wanted a 1980s universe for years, because, like, ever since I started watching, like, Super Sentai and the 1980s shows, it's like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if the A-Team van could transform into a giant robot and fight along the various Sentai teams? Oh, crap. Yep, I'm gonna die. No, I'm not! Because they gave me my extra life. Well, this is not the best tactics, and since it wasn't the best, I died almost immediately. Because I'm smart. Alright, let's go ahead and just go through that door and not bother trying. This looks like another arena, doesn't it? Because we didn't just fight in one goddamn arena, we gotta fight in another one. I think after this arena, I'm going to call it an episode. I think the big problem is there needs to be more open areas and not just so many arenas. So I'm already starting to get fatigued myself. Although we have been going almost an hour, so there's that. But I think the big problem is it's like there does need to be... I guess when you're combining it into 3 levels, it's just like... you want to finish it, and so you're going arena after arena, so that can potentially get a little annoying. I gotta say, I still think the Mancubuses are both good and bad. I mean, it's one of those things where it is a trade-off. He's a very difficult enemy that does a lot of damage, but he can be kind of annoying in that he does a lot of damage, and takes a lot of it. So he can be a bit of a slog enemy. Which is what he was in the first, in Doom 2. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting too whiny in my old age. Alright, let's grab the old machine gun and blast. Yeah, see, like, I don't know. As I play it, I can tell that it is a different design from from Doom Eternal. They're going for something a bit different here. It's not quite as frantic, but I'm not sure if that's quite as good. It's really, I'm kind of on the fence here. as to the quality of the... Well, no, it's not necessarily as to the quality, it's as to whether I personally like it or not. Alright, you bloody fat fuck. I mean, wait, is that fat shaming? Ah, well, it probably everything is shaming. Demon shaming, how dare we? Alright, and we're gonna fly over here. But I guess that's one problem with the modern era. If there was truly supernatural stuff, actually suppressing that would be somewhat difficult. Even when the social media companies are colluding to suppress things, it still gets out. So if you actually did have that's one of the reasons why I'm still a bit skeptical about the whole the government knows about the foul Xenos thing. Not because I don't believe in Xenos, but I think if there was more evidence than there is, or like conclusive evidence, it would have come out. Like hiding, you know, an alien attack on something is not going to be an easy prospect. But then again, that could just be what they want you to think. Watch the skies. Let's shoot that. Let's see, we're probably going to need to fry that bastard. Or miss terribly. Come on, come on, come on. Buff totem. Oh, that's... Thanks for that game. Thanks for the software. Oh, I wonder if they actually hit it this time. Oh, this is not going to end well. I think if I die here, I'm just going to call it a day. Because holy crap. Like, they are not skimping on the difficulty at all. And I absolutely... There it is. They didn't actually hide it this time. It's still pretty obvious where it is. And smack it! Give me all that sweet, sweet health. And smack him! Holy shit. I think we actually damaged the plasma cannon there. I think one of the more interesting 1980s zombie films is, of course, the Night of the Living Dead, where, like, every part of the body is alive. That's where, like, the whole idea of, like, I think, what is it, trioxin or something, being the cause of the zombies just doesn't make a lot of sense, whereas, like, demonic zombies does. See, what I'd like to see in a zombie film, if you had to absolutely positively make a zombie film, is I'd like to see a zombie film with a necromancer, because that's not something we've really seen in like mainstream zombie stuff. Like, I'd like to see set. God damn it! All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll actually finish my thought and then we'll take it a day, call it a day. But what I'd like to see is, in a modern setting, an actual necromancer raising zombies, because I think that would be very interesting, you know, like with death knights and stuff like that, than just your typical shamblers. But in any event, I'm GeneralLotz. This game is still pretty awesome, but god damn, is it tough. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue bringing you this great content.